Welcome to another That's What They Said, a podcast where we question the questionable lyrics of your favorite songs. Sarina Morales and Scott Spinelli talking Shania Twain. That don't impress me much. And I feel like you kind of need to say it with a little toot, like a little with the head and everything.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, the snaps are optional, of course, but yes, you definitely you definitely need some sort of head movement, finger pointing, something needs to happen. Yeah.
That don't impress me. Yeah, I mean, so there were two versions of this song, which I forgot. I actually forgot about.
I don't think I knew that. I don't think
there's here's your Denver Nug to start it off.
How did you become?
I became the Denver Nug. I'm Murray. I took that starting lineup job right away.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I really don't. Go ahead.
I forgot that there was like a country version. I remember just the like more international poppy version of the song. And when I went to watch the music video for it's not like there's a remix or something. Like Eminem comes in and starts doing a verse on Shania's song. But yeah, it's just like there's a little bit more pop to it. It's the European version, if you will. So yeah.
Do you want to talk about the album first or where do you want to start? Because, well, here, give us the intro because there's a lot to talk about the album first. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the song itself is just about her breaking down. It's a feminist song, like woo woo. Okay, we're women and we don't need to take no dude, whether they're good looking or not. They're self-absorbed. Scott has things to say about this. But yes, she is not impressed. It doesn't impress me much. So
how about some Billboard numbers? Where are we at with that?
Yes.
I mean, this one had to have been good, right?
Peaked at 7.
I was going to guess top 10. I was going to guess top 10. Yeah.
Definitely a top 10er. Released December of 1998 as the 6th country single and 7th single overall from her 3rd album. I was like, oh, wow, she's been established. Come On Over, that came out in 1997. It became her 3rd biggest single on the Billboard 100 and remains one of her biggest hits. It hit #1 in Belgium, Ireland, New Zealand, and Norway. I'm fascinated. Like, what are they? Do they wait for us? Oh, there's a new song. And in Norway, the whole country stops so that they can listen to Shania Twain.
You lived in London for a bit. It's always a fascinating thing to me to and I have some friends over there. It's interesting, like when you hear songs that they'll be like, oh, we love this song by this artist. And you're like, that was barely, how do you even know that song? Not how do you know it? Like you shouldn't know it. Meaning like for us, it wasn't.
Why is that your favorite song? Why is that your favorite song?
Yeah. Why is this like 8th track off of this album the one that you love? But to that point, what I was amazed by with this, because I looked at the album, Come On Over, and I know a handful of Shania Twain songs, the ones we all know, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All of them were on this album, it seems like. This album was 16 tracks long. 11 of them were singles. 11!
Wow. Way to go, Shania. Ooh.
Yes.
So people bought that album because no one used to. Yes. I mean, you wouldn't really buy a CD. People used to buy CDs even if it's just one song they wanted to hear, and then they discovered other songs. Now you can, again, we kind of talk about owning CDs and tape cassettes for years, but that's impressive because it wasn't an expectation to have every song be a banger.
Of course not. Of course not. And not only that, it wasn't an expectation to have every song be released and be like a huge hit. The two songs that I think most people know are this one and Man, I Feel Like a Woman, right? Like those are two, I don't know her entire catalog, but I think that those are two of her biggest.
And then like Still the One I Want to.
Yeah, I don't know if Still the One is on there. I'd have to look at, let me see.
Those were like when I was reflecting on my Shania Twain knowledge, I was like, let me
Still the One is on that album too. Still the One's on that album too.
Oh,
yeah, those are the 3. They're all on that album, right? This is it's a crazy record. But then the other thing that's wild about it is actually, I don't know where Still the One fits in this, but this song, and as you mentioned, was the 7th overall single. Man, I Feel Like a Woman was the 8th. So there were 6 other songs that they chose to release before this as singles.
Wow.
Like, not just 1 or 2, because we talked about that, I think, for Big Pun. We were like, why was there the original version of Still Feel Like a Player when you knew you were going to release the remix as the single? Like, why did you do that? This is the same thing to me. It's like these 2 songs are generational hits for her. And
they were like, let's hold off. let's wait for a sec. Let's
just give it. Let's see if we can really build a buzz for about 6 months. The first single probably came out like months before the album, like maybe almost a year.
And they're like, no, not that one. All right, let's drop another, give another treat.
We got a quick half dozen of singles here. Want to see what you think. According to some other research, and again, I don't want to steal your Carmelo Anthony.
Please, just working it here today.
Your Nugs fever here. But as I saw, that was it. That Come On Over was the best-selling country album ever, best-selling studio album by a female, best-selling album of the 90s, and the 9th best-selling album of U.S. history. And let's just say that all 4 of those are incorrect. Let's just say I got all
Yeah.
They're not incorrect by that much, is the point. Like, I doubt very seriously, maybe she's no longer the best-selling country album. Maybe she's no longer the best-selling studio album by a female. Perhaps Beyonce said and nobody updated Wikipedia. I don't know, and I don't care.
Yeah.
The point is that she's got some share of all of those at some point.
At some point she was. Like pre-Taylor Swift, Shania was all that and more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
this was
a bag of you know what.
And a bag of you know what. She this was like the official song of the 2003 CONCACAF World Gold Cup, which I also found fascinating considering like it's men's soccer, and I just didn't realize like internationally, like let's pick this song. That don't impress me much. Well, it's impressive. You're playing a gold cup for soccer. Like, seems
very weird
impressive
song
to me.
For that.
Yeah,
very weird song to pick for that. I also want to remark on one thing, and I just want to say, obviously she's a beautiful woman. I didn't realize how beautiful Shania Twain was.
Gorgeous.
I mean, I knew she was beautiful. Obviously this was not. It wasn't like I thought she was. She looked like me. I didn't think she looked like me, right? But when I saw the video, I was like, man. Again, because this isn't my kind of music. Yeah. I do. That's what this podcast is about. It's actually me letting you know that I feel like, well, no, I think it was just, and the other thing I noticed is because I was looking at her up a little bit, some other videos and such, I was like, she looks different, but still gorgeous in every one of, like, I didn't, because when I saw the video, I was like, that doesn't look like her to me. She looks different. And I honestly think she's gotten, like, every look has been good. They're all different. She looks great today. She looked great then. Yeah. She's just a beautiful looking person.
Gorgeous. I mean, she should have been like a model. I mean, maybe she did model on a few things, but I think of like Faith Hill and Taylor Swift, and maybe like a handful of other like country. Carrie Underwood are also like these big country music stars that kind of hit on a global level, and they all do like Oil of Olay or Neutrogena or like other modeling aspects outside. But I'm like, Shania was the most gorgeous of all. I'm like, when I watched the music video, I was like, you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. Yeah.
And she, she's good looking and again, I know we're doing this a little out of order here, but the music video, when someone can pull off I don't even know how I would describe that outfit.
Let's talk about the music video first, because we can't take our eyes off Shania. So
what is that outfit? I mean, it's best as I can describe it. It's a hood
leopard print,
a hooded cape, though. Yes. It's a cape. It's a full thing that is full leopard print. She takes it off and she reveals it. What is that? What would you say?
Like a sports bra of a leopard print.
Also leopard print, doubling down on the LP.
No leopard survived in the making of that outfit.
Taken names. And also the fact that she had the leopard print pants on too.
And the bag.
In the middle of the desert.
Match. In the middle of the desert. And she's not sweating at all. There's no distress.
Not a hint of perspiration.
I mean, they were setting her up to be like a damsel in distress, hailing for cars on the side of the road. It's like, oh no, poor Shania, this beautiful woman is trying to get help. And the whole point is like, she turns all of them down. But I'm like, she's so beautiful. Like, I don't care about anything else.
Yeah, I'm mesmerized by her. It doesn't even.
And how she pulled off that outfit.
Yeah, I mean, she really doesn't. But the fact is that she's incredible looking, so she can do whatever she wants,
Yeah, I do. Based on that music video, quickly, because obviously it's pretty ridiculous. Like, she's in the desert and doesn't look like she's tortured at all by it. But like, so throughout the music video, there's guys who like come on a truck or a car or a motorcycle or something. They pull up and they're like, "Hey babe, like come with me." And I was waiting for like, imagine the dude with the pot belly and a bicycle, and he's like, I look like this, but I got a good personality. And then that's where it's like, all right, let's figure out. And she gets on the pegs of the, like, I just like, what are we waiting for?
She's gone.
I'm like, how did she get there? Like, what happened?
Oh,
That's where I'm like, how do you end up in the middle of the desert with leopard print?
At one point, I thought maybe the idea of this is that she'd rather choose like, I guess like is certain death than be with some of these men. That's how, right? Like, because to me, it made more sense. Right? It seems to me though that the more enjoyable video would have been her like walking down the street and every single man trying to come up to her, which is probably what happens to her in her real life.
Right.
Yeah. I get here. Before we get into the song, I will say this, okay? And I want to preface all of my idiotic comments that are forthcoming by saying, I understand the premise of this song. I get it, and I think it's a good one. I just want to understand, make it clear. I don't not understand that a woman like this, who is more talented than, I would say, 99.9999999% of the men she encounters who think that they're better than her, right? I get it. Like, though it's about those guys, like, cool out. Like, you're not good enough to get with me, even in your wildest dreams.
Correct.
I get the premise. However, and here's where the lyrics come.
Yes, I'm with you as well. It's fun. We're going to take a humorous spin on this because it's hard not to. And so let's get to it. The lyrics, would you like to start?
Well, here, so this song is, all right, it's in 3 parts, right? There's 3 different guys. There's the Brad Pitt guy, excuse me, the rocket scientist guy, the Brad Pitt guy, and the car guy. I'm going to start last with the car guy, which is to say that, first of all, they clearly ran out of ammunition, right? Because the first 2 guys are rockets. First 2 guys are a rocket scientist and Brad Pitt, and they're like, "What? So what? You've got a car?" Like, you're right. Like, that isn't impressive.
It isn't, except if you're in the middle of the desert. But yes, that's
but they don't tell you that in the song. The first 2, everybody listening to the song's like, actually, I think I would date Brad Pitt, or I would date a rocket scientist. This one, they're like, yeah, no shit, a car is not impressive. Yeah, what are you, George Jetson, and you're flying to work? Like, no, it's not impressive. And the lyric where in that verse where she says, "I can't believe you kiss your car goodnight." It's like, you know what? Again, the first 2 verses are making a clear case for Shania being the one who's a little picky. This one, it's like, girl, have some higher standards. Right. Do not date men that kiss their car goodnight. That's crazy town.
I agree. And on that lyric, she says, "You'll make me take my shoes off before you let me get in the car." Like, I didn't know anyone would like, what the what?
Oh, get in the car. I thought it was get in the house, which, by the way, are you a shoes off in the house person?
I know you probably hate that, but yeah, I am.
People are so irritating.
Yeah, I know we are.
So irritating. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll do it.
I grew up in the Bronx. The Bronx, it's been like ingrained in me as a like small child because it was like wipe your feet. You get in, the subway is all over your shoes. Also, as a child, I probably stepped in some crap while I was literally walking, which just happened. So like the last thing my parents wanted were like feet of the Bronx trampling all over the Bronx apartment. And I had to walk straight and wash my hands, which this is why I survived COVID, because I was like, we clean everything before you enjoy your home.
That's why. That's why you got through it. As science had nothing to do with it. I would say
maybe a couple of vaccines, whatever. Yes. I saw no one for 3 years.
So. Your social life was cut to one person.
I don't know. This is my social life.
I mean, I could go on forever about that, but generally, I look at it like this. One, if you want to take off your shoes, fine. I get the general point. But if I have a lot of people over, I'm cleaning my floors regardless. It's not like, so what's the difference?
If a guest comes over and like people come over, then I don't make them. It's more of like me. And if like one person's over, I'm like, you want to take your shoes off? I think that's but yes, I mean, if you're having a date over, I'm not gonna be like,
oh, no, not a date. I meant like a party.
Oh, yeah. Now it's too annoying. I hear you. But yeah, anyway, I think it meant you make me take my shoes before you get, because she's talking about you're one of those guys that likes to shine his machine. You make me take my. I was like, what? I took it as the car, and I was like,
no, you're right.
Who would ever freaking ever do that? Run away now. If someone was like, hey, I'll pick you up at 8, be ready, I'll be right downstairs, and then they were like, hey, can you take your shoes off before you get in my car? I'd be like, I gotta go. I'm gonna go back upstairs.
Also, two things on this. One, isn't it illegal to drive without shoes? I think it might be.
Is it?
Or that could just have been a lie that my parents told me, and now I'm learning that my parents lie.
Because you were like, barefoot.
Cool for school. That's number one. Number two, though, more importantly, is one of my good friends, my friend Anna Marie, who I don't know if she listens to this, but if she does, here's a shout out. She has a rule with dating where she would say she doesn't date anybody, she avoids extremes, right? And to me, I thought of that when I was listening to this verse. I was like, this is an extreme. It's okay to like cars. It's okay to like sports. It's okay to like reading. It's okay to like whatever it is that you like. It's okay to be into it, but to love it so much that you kiss your car goodnight and that you make someone take off their shoes when they get inside of it, that's extreme. See ya.
Extreme.
2 strikes, you're out.
We can talk about the other strikes. I do have one thing towards the beginning where she's like,
you
jumped around. No, that's fine.
Yeah,
she's like, oh, you think you're special. Oh, you think you're something else. I had no idea she was saying something else, because she says, and like, you can insert the song here, but it's like something else. I had no idea that she was singing you think you're something else. No, that learn something today. Something else.
I mean, I think we've learned. I do hear these songs. I don't know if my ears are just clearer than yours. I don't know what's going. Like, there have been. You didn't know Mark Morrison was British. You didn't inspect that any further. I don't know what to say with you sometimes, honestly. But no, I did know that lyric. But she does say it in a funny way. So, I think
you lied to me. I'll never forget that. So
the rocket scientist thing. The rocket scientist thing. Let's start there, right? So first of all, I don't like the way. That's one thing I don't like about the song, when it's like her, like, oh, so you're a.
So are you a rocket scientist?
Yeah, that whole thing just. I don't like it.
Pauses. She speaks, and then she goes,
yeah.
That don't impress me. And then she goes right back into it. You're like, oh.
The part, I like everything other than the talking part. But in the song where she says, she goes, I've known a few guys who thought they were pretty smart, and then goes on and forward, right? Which is leading on to the rocket scientist thing. First of all, I think it's weird that we talk about, like, rocket scientist is like sort of always slang for smart. Like, you know what I mean?
You could have a stupid street smart rocket scientist. I'm sure they're out there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are vice versa in every direction. We all do. Not rocket scientists specifically,
but like genius level. And then I'm like, where is your common sense to like do anything else?
You're wearing 2 different sneakers. You're wearing 2 different sneakers. But the other side of that to me is like, he's not just, this is why I picked that lyric. The guy is not just pretty smart. When she says, I've known a few guys who thought they were pretty smart. I'm like, nah, rocket scientist, you don't have to like him. Rocket scientist is very smart.
You're probably at a top tier level of smart. Yeah. Like, I'm not trusting anyone with a rocket unless they have a science level, like a high one. Right?
Agreed.
Hello, NASA. Yeah. Also, just funny thinking from it, from like, a mom who's like, I was single for years, I wasn't one of those like, I need a husband. I need, that wasn't, but you get reminded when you at family gatherings, like, oh, tu novio, and I'm like, oh, no. So I thought this was funny because it's like, oh, so you're a rocket scientist that don't impress. I'm like, yo, if a mother is singing this song, she would be like, marry that man right now.
Oh no, if a mother was. Oh, sure. If a mom was singing this song, it would be over by verse 1.
Oh, you're a rocket scientist. Dun, 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 dun. It's wedding music. I mean, but mom, he's not good in bed. And you're like, who gives a damn? He has good credit. Go marry him right now.
And let me tell you something. If your mom somehow passed on the rocket scientist when it got to verse 2 for Brad Pitt, she wouldn't have been like, she would have said to you, listen, hija, it's over.
I appreciate the Spanglish thing going. Yeah, no, yeah, you gotta get it together. The other thing, like, so you got the brains, but haven't got the touch. Don't get me wrong, I think you're all right, but that won't keep me warm in the middle of the night. This made me think of a recent SNL skit. It's called like Big Boys. They did
Oh,
a song. Have you seen
I
this?
thought you were talking about the sweatshirt one. Never mind. No, I haven't
Oh
seen that one. No.
no. Well, Kiki Palmer was on and they're like, I need a big boy. I need a big boy. But it's basically all these women singing about they need a big boy to keep them warm for the winter time. And it's not like, oh, look at me. I got a six pack. And they're like, no, I need a keg. Just like I'm like, there's a need. Like I don't really need these things right now. I need this from someone. So
Of course, yeah.
all right,
I mean,
let's
speaking
talk
of this,
Brad Pitt.
yeah, I mean, I the thing with the Brad Pitt thing is I read somewhere that it came up because she admitted that it came up because like his nude pictures of him came out and they put him in
Yes.
Playgirl.
It was like with
And then she
Gwyneth
was just like,
Paltrow, who's like the scandal
yeah.
with them. Yep.
And then she was just like, listen, nude pictures are nude pictures. It's not that big of a deal, which in general, I think she's probably right. Like the idea of normalizing that would take away a lot of the, if it was normal, then the disgusting people who leak those photos wouldn't do it as much because
Sure.
there's nothing scandalous to be gained.
Mhm.
I'm not saying people should have their naked pictures leaked, but like, I get the general point that like, hey, everybody's, it's, we all have it, we've all, whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
However, Brad Pitt was, and will remain one of the sexiest MFs alive.
Yeah.
And he's not just like a good looking, boob tube.
No.
I mean, the guy is funny. He's been in great
smart.
movies. He's been,
maybe not
he's
rocket
been everything.
Science level, but like he's smart.
Sure.
He's got his stuff together. Speaks well on camera.
Certainly,
married Angelina Jolie, who's also like, a philanthropist and all that jazz.
And got out of it. And also got out of there seemingly at the right time.
Yes.
Additionally, and I suppose more importantly, he has a car. So that impresses me a lot, actually.
I would say it's probably a couple, just a few.
Oh, that impresses me a lot.
Yeah. I know the Brad Pitt thing. I wonder if when Brad Pitt heard this, he was just like, she loves me.
I was thinking it'd be like I was thinking about the same. I wonder if his reaction was like, the fuck did I do? Like,
yeah,
what did I do? I'm not good. Yeah.
I didn't do anything. Gwyneth, do you even know her? She was that whole goop thing later on in the future.
Yeah.
The last link I'd call out is, do you think you're Elvis or something? I was like, who? Oh, what? Where is that? What do you think you're Elvis or something? I'm like, one, whether people think he's dead or alive is one thing, but two, I'm thinking of like the Elvis in Vegas, and I'm like, ugh, I don't know.
Well, no, see, I was going a different direction there.
Okay.
So two things for me are Elvis one is such a dated reference at that point, right? I mean, I'm aware he's still extremely iconic,
sure,
but like the Elvis she's referencing, that's a dated reference. That was black and white television, the one she's referencing,
right?
And
because what I knew is like Times Square Elvis.
Yeah, but that being said, the point is that if you are still like if it was Elvis and she's turning down in this song Rocket Scientist, Elvis Presley, and Brad Pitt,
all
and
at
a
their
guy
peak,
who
all their peak,
and a guy who has a car,
a Toyota Corolla.
Yeah. So it's me, Brad Pitt, Elvis, and a rocket scientist. I would throw me overboard too, to be fair.
Oh man. Yeah. You got any other lyrics you want to?
No other lyrics. I just wanted to make one mention of
okay.
So I just thought it was interesting. Her husband was her producer. Robert Mutt Lang or Lang.
Yeah,
Lang,
he wrote
whatever.
the song with
Either way,
her.
they're no longer.
Yeah.
Yep, they're no longer together. And I just thought that was interesting to think about. Like it was heavily involved in this album and producing it and such, and yet the whole thing is like that's kind of like a love letter in a way to him from her, right? That like all of these objectively sort of on other than the car thing.
He didn't have a car.
Reason, all the other things, all the other things are objectively impressive, and she was like, "Nope, I'd rather stay with my my current husband."
That's a good nugget. Never thought about that, but they're not together now. I wonder if he's like, oh,
I didn't say that.
He should have got a car.
Yeah. If only he was Brad Pitt. That would have been real to come up and see if this ends with her with Brad Pitt at some point.
Brad Pitt. I mean, he's on the market, I think. I don't know.
I don't know what his deal is, but I wish
like
him the
and
best.
Pete Davidson, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but Pete Davidson, I don't have any animus towards Pete Davidson, but I don't. I just don't like his work really. Like I don't find him funny, you know, like in his profession. I listen, I wish him, some of the women he's dated is outrageous how he's been able to pull some of these names. But as far as Brad Pitt, I love the art. I love the work. So I'm in for both. I mean, visually, he's a dream, and creatively or artwork wise, whatever.
Shout out to Brad Pitt. I hope your feelings were not too hurt in this. There are other people that are impressed by you and your cars. Final thoughts. It's funny that you said that you don't like. Oh, so you got a car? Because I thought that was like perfect for karaoke. People who can't sing and they're just like, I cannot wait to do that again. I guess you can, but yeah.
Yeah, I can wait to do that again. The next time I do it, I hope is never.
That don't impress me. I like getting crowds going. I mean, the why I chose the on-camera profession. I'm like, oh, like let's go. It's live. So yeah, there is something about it. So I think the pause is like, say you got a car. I don't know. It startles you.
It is possible. It is possible that oh man, I lost my train of thought. But it is possible that the car thing. Where were we going with this?
The pauses, you were saying the pause and the karaoke.
Oh, it is possible with karaoke, rather, that you and I, the last time we did karaoke in Koreatown years ago, you may have done this song. It's very possible.
Possibly.
Yeah, that honestly, we may have had a drink or two that night. I don't remember, but usually it's pretty sober evening. Yeah,
it was just it was just a Tuesday for me, Scott.
You like that?
Previous reference to an episode that, by the way, highly recommend watching the Woodstock documentary on Netflix, because I finally got to it, and holy cow. Good.
Yeah.
Lord of the Flies. What in the world?
Yeah. And frankly, and without getting, again, this is far afield here and we got to get going, but I think that, and this is horrible to say, I guess, but like, I thought it would even be worse based on how bad it seemed. Meaning,
you're right.
I'm pretty sure that there was more stuff that went on that they did not report, because it seemed hellacious there, like real bad. And I would bet there was
was worse. And I think that they just couldn't, based on the people who ran Woodstock 99 and their blatant disregard for any sort of thing that was actually going on. Is mind-boggling, one. And so it probably was worse, but yes, it could have been. We probably could have known more about how bad it got.
Exactly. It's almost to your point, it was almost assuredly worse, but they didn't report that, because given the powder keg of things that were going on and the things they did report, it's like there's no way those were one-offs. There were obviously worse things that happened there that they didn't say.
Like, I think I looked up only one person died from this, and I'm like, that's impossible.
That. I don't believe that number.
No way that one person. No freaking way. So highly recommend watching. It's called Trainwreck, Woodstock 99, and it's on Netflix, and I recommend it. So that wraps up another episode of That's What They Said. Shania Twain, that don't impress me much. You can catch us on Spotify and all things, including YouTube. You can see us visually if you want to, or if you don't. Avoid us at all causes, and we will see you next time.